In 2006, a sister by the name of Tarana Burke wanted to make a statement and defend all the black women that were being assaulted, that were being mistreated, that was being ignored at a job, at the workplace, that was being harassed, right? Because a lot of times, the same thing that happened to white women, when it happens to black women, nobody cares and nobody pays any attention. So our sister, Tarana, started a movement called the Me Too movement.
Me Too is a movement that was founded in 2006 to support survivors of sexual violence, in particular black and brown girls who were in the program that we were running. It has grown since then to include supporting grown people, women and men and other survivors, as well as helping people to understand what community action looks like in the fight to end sexual violence.
Now, understand what this sister had in mind when she started this movement is not what it is today.
Before, people were doing research about like how black girls are hypersexualized, and this is what we saw. It's this way that the world doesn't recognize trauma in black girls. And so what people would dismiss and say she's troubled or she's this and that.
In 2017, that movement that was created for black women and black girls that was being ignored by the government or by the police or by the court system, white women hijacked that movement and turned it into what it is today.
I gotta tell you, the way white women somehow hijack the woke movement, generals around the world should be analyzing this. The woke movement was supposed to be about people of color, and it was about that for about 8 seconds. And then somehow, white women swung their Gucci-booted feet over the fence of oppression and stuck themselves at the front of the line.
They weaponized it. What it was created for is no longer what it's being used for. Hello. Welcome to Reactions and Reviews. I'm your humble host, Eze. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the show. In today's episode, we are going to react to this NBC News discussion on how the Me Too movement have ripped apart America, has ripped apart American homes and businesses. Shout out to our good sister, Shayla 2000, for sending this clip. Let's get to it.
Side result, an unintended consequence of the Me Too movement has popped up. Male executives and managers, some are now saying they are afraid to work with and mentor female colleagues in the workplace. So we're trying to find out, is it too hard to see the difference between mentoring and harassment?
Here's the thing. I want to talk to all the men out there who have this concern. I want to say that I feel empathy. I understand. You're concerned that you're walking on eggshells. You feel vulnerable in the workplace. You're concerned that your words or your behavior might be misinterpreted as being something other than who you are.
We don't know what the new rules of the road are.
Welcome to the world of being a woman or a person of color or a member of the LGBT community or a person with disabilities in the workplace.
Boo, boo. I don't know who this lady is. I don't know who this sister is, but I'm so sick and tired of every time something is going wrong, they always compare it to our race. They always compare it to our skin color. The same thing with the alphabet community. They're always trying to compare their lifestyle to black people. It is two different things. To even compare the horrific, horrible atrocities that black people faced in this country, that black people faced in Africa, that black people continue to face worldwide. To compare that is just ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some evil men out there in the workplace, and those men need to be removed from those positions. I'm not disputing that. The issue that I'm having is when they start comparing it. It's like comparing the Me Too movement to slavery. Come on, man. Really? Really? Anyway, let's keep going.
You're concerned that you may be labeled as a creep because you compliment me on my beautiful dress. You know what? Sometimes I'm labeled as the B word because I smile too much. I think that we need to take this new experience that men are feeling in the workplace and actually channel it into something really positive, which is, why don't you work on creating a more inclusive culture and taking all of your frustration, directing it at the men who are making you look really bad, the bad apples, and not punish women in the workplace, because quite frankly, your whole enterprise is going to crumble if you don't figure out how to leverage and harness the ingenuity and creativity and talent of the women.
The hypocrisy, the hypocrisy, the hypocrisy. Ladies and gentlemen, what she just said. Now, let's flip that. You know how women always saying, not all, just based on what she just said. Why can't the good women come out and correct the bad apple of bad women that's right now destroying the image of black women? All the negative things that's tearing apart the black community. Why can't the positive women come out and hold them accountable? Is that not the same thing right now that she's saying? Men are always blamed. No matter what it is, blame men. Women never take accountable for their own behavior. Blame men. No matter what it is, men are at fault. If you made it this far, hit that like button and leave a comment to trigger YouTube's algorithm. I'm a new channel and I'm trying to grow. So hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to let you know every time I upload a new video.
Shelley, take the other side of the coin with me. You and I are both women who have been mentored by men. We have spent our careers with men, having lots of close personal, social relationships. And many, many times people have said, well, how did she get there? Why is he bringing her? So there's not no truth to it.
Listen, I think the biggest issue today is we're living in a climate of hypersensitivity, microsensitivity. Men are afraid to do and say the wrong thing in today's post-movement era, which is a big issue. And look at us, there's so few female leaders. Leaders are predominantly men, and we need leaders to be our mentors. And if leaders, which are predominantly men, are afraid to be with women alone, we have a big issue. We have a really big issue.
Thank you. Thank you to this lady right here. God bless you. She is spitting facts. It's like men are not allowed to say anything. Men are not allowed to express themselves. Men are not allowed to do nothing. Don't say jack. Don't say jack. All it takes is one woman at the workplace to say, he smiled at me and made me uncomfortable. That man's career is over. It is over. Whether he did it or not, it does not matter. Just the fact she opened her mouth and said, he said he liked my dress and that made me uncomfortable. That's it. If that man is married, he will lose his wife, he will lose his house, he will lose his children, he will lose everything. Just because she said, he complimented my dress and I didn't like it, it made me uncomfortable.
3.5 times more men say today that they will not go alone with a woman for dinner. 5 times more likely men not wanting to travel with women.
This is a big problem. When we first heard this from Mike Pence, we laughed at it. We said it was absurd. And now if we're actually hearing this from business people, I am worried.
Well, here's the thing. There's lots of ways that the current system, as it was not allowing opportunities for women, for people of color, for people in the workplace to advance, because oftentimes when you choose a mentor, you choose someone who's like yourself. I think that this can present all kinds of opportunities for opening up the playing field to let more people get the kind of leadership development and exposure and insight and advice that they need. You don't have to have, if you're not going to have a dinner or a closed door meeting with a woman, how about you not have it with the young men either? How about you choose 3 or 4 or 5 up and coming people in your industry? How about you have a group lunch, right? Where you give your insight, you encourage them to then peer coach one another and form a crew so that they can support one another. I think there are all kinds of ways in which we really need to think about.
This woman in red, the sister, needs to be quiet because she has no clue what men are going through under this Me Too movement. She has no clue. This sister is making black people look bad. She is making black people look bad. First of all, mentorship is not a group thing. It's an individual thing. If I'm trying to be a mentor to somebody, it's me and that individual, a man or a woman. Now me and a group. Me and a group is just me teaching. Do you understand? That's teaching. Teaching is different from mentorship. Mentorship means you become my shadow. When I go to a film festival, you go with me to a film festival. You watch how I move. You watch how I talk to actors. You watch how I talk to producers. You watch how I talk to writers. You watch how I interact with other filmmakers. That's mentorship. You know what I'm saying? You follow my guidance. You ask me questions. I train you. That's basically what mentorship means. I train you.
In a formal sense, that will be fantastic, but it is also those informal connections that really make a huge difference in people's careers. And do we run the risk right now of losing that while the rules of engagement are so unclear?
Well, I think that's why it's time to rewrite the rules. I think it's time
Who's going to rewrite them, and then who's going to tell us what they are? Because I don't know it.
I always, we always say it takes a village to raise a family. What is the 21st century today of a village? And I think it includes our companies. And that's what we have to really be thinking about, creating a culture of care, a culture of safety, a culture of security, a culture where we all belong, a culture we can thrive. We cannot go backwards. This is a trend that is a really scary trend. And the way to move forward is with positivity, proactive solutions for change, and getting all of us to own this responsibility. And when you think about it, what's okay and not okay? There's a range of men from clueless to creepy to classy. There's 3 categories, right? And I think in the post-movement era, we just need a new education of what's okay and not okay. And every generation has a different perspective. If you tell me I look nice, I'm going to say thank you. If we tell someone else they look nice, they might be offended. So before we call that bad behavior as bad behavior, let's first point out that it makes us uncomfortable. Give someone the benefit of the doubt that they might not be aware of the fact that I'm not comfortable with that.
Brilliant. Who is this lady? Who is this lady? Brilliant. You see, someone with common sense that's speaking. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Okay? The things that we was doing back then is nowhere close to being okay to do in today's time. Not even close. Back then, you can go to a club, go to a bar, and an attractive woman walk by you. You grab her by her hand and pull her close to you and spit your game and holler at her. You cannot do that today, you see? So she is 100% correct. It's education. It's re-educating people, not destroying a man because he gave you a compliment. That compliment made you uncomfortable. Now you come after the man, and everything that took him 30 years, 40 years, 50 years to build, you destroy it in 1 week. You destroy it in 1 week. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fucked up. That's what needs to change. That is what needs to change.
Now, what do you guys think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Either way, leave your comments below so we can start this conversation. Until the next video, stay safe in the streets. Later.
That will wrap it up for today's episode. And thank you for joining me. So please, leave a comment below. If you agree, if you disagree, it doesn't matter. Leave the comment below. And also, you tell me what you want me to cover. You tell me what you want me to discuss and what you want me to react to. Okay? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you on the next episode. Please don't forget to subscribe. Let's rebuild the Black nuclear family. It is needed. Okay? God bless.